Yo, 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 what's up? Fake radio. We out here. Special guest in the building. Introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Rose's Hands.
Rose's Hands. Not Rose Hands. Rose's Hands.
There's an S at the end.
There's an S at the end. With the don't forget the exclamation point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been making music for a minute.
Yeah.
What inspired the name Rose's Hands? What was that?
So it was like when I first started making music, it was like it was like very spoken word, almost like it was very different than what I do now.
Yeah.
And there was this artist that I really liked. His name was Dandelion Hands.
Dandelion Hands.
Yeah. So it was a reference to that,
Got
and then
you.
the exclamation points and the no spaces was a reference to like how Never Shout Never used to stylize their name.
Okay.
Used to be like never, exclamation point, shout, exclamation point,
Got you.
So it's kind of just a combination of the two things that inspired me to start making music in the first place.
Cool. And the first song I could find was the song Weed After Sex. That was like...
Yeah. That's the first one I will allow people to listen to.
Got you. How old were you when you made?
I was 18.
Okay.
Really, that was the beginning of me learning how to do all of that on my own.
Yeah. And so, what I've noticed about a lot of music, you got a lot of EPs.
Yeah.
And they all have like a different like vibe to them, like a different like theme, like visually and like sonically.
Yeah.
Which I fuck with. What kind of inspired you to kind of go with that release strategy? That kind of.
I don't know if it's a strategy because it's not. It's hard to market yourself when you switch so drastically so often. But like early Panic at the Disco, how they went from like their first album was super like emo, like carnival almost kind of thing, to then doing like Beatles inspired folk.
Right.
Something about that really resonated with me, and I never wanted to just put out the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So I kind of was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to switch it up in between things, but then keeping it consistent in the way that I produce it and the way that I write my lyrics. So.
Got you. You know, and it is like the song structure is always like very consistent and like unique. How'd you like develop that like kind of specific strong song structure style? Because it's like it's different. Like I haven't heard.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it really stems back to like I was really into like pop music growing up, and like Kesha like kind of changed my life.
Yeah.
And
okay. What's like your favorite Kesha song?
Oof. Probably this is a deep cut. An unreleased song called "Run Devil Run."
Okay.
It's a banger.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
My roommates give me shit all the time. Kesha's one of the few artists who I don't like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she I like a lot of her unreleased stuff more.
Got you.
You can see like her thought process a little more.
Yeah.
But I just like always kind of, I don't know, I like would study how she structured things and how music worked in general, and then I kind of got like a formula down to how I would do mine from that, where it was just like, oh, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, repeat, and then a bridge.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of starting to switch it up because I started working with DJ Roswell. I think I've mentioned him before. He's kind of like a mentor to me almost.
Got you.
But he produced some stuff for me, and then we did it in a different way than I had previously worked on music, where he sent me these tracks and I just wrote to the tracks versus like I would previously write first. And that kind of changed how I structured things. So now I put the bridge a lot of the times before the second chorus.
Yeah.
Just to mix it up or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And when did you start working with DJ Roswell?
I think the first time that we worked together was like June of 2021.
Okay. Yeah.
He produced a cover of Black Sheep from
Scott
Pilgrim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Black Sheep. Yeah.
And then he did like a whole EP for me, which came out last year, and then January of 2023, he came and stayed with me for a month, and we like slaved over this album that is going to come out later this year or early next year. Got
you. So you got, by the time they're listening, I think it'll be out, the folk album you got going on.
So that one I produced by myself.
That's all you. Yeah. Really good. The song what's it called? Like Every Night
Every Night the Same Terror.
Yeah, no, that song is sick. The music video with the clown makeup.
Yeah.
What made you want to do the clown makeup with?
I don't know. There was just like...
It's very inspired. Like, I showed it to my roommate that does music videos, and he was like, oh, like, the clown makeup's inspired as fuck. Like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was... I think the clown makeup specifically came from two things. It was... I watch a lot of drag performances.
Yeah.
And specifically, like, there's a drag queen, Jimbo, who just won Drag Race All-Stars 8.
Got you.
And she did, like, very surrealist, kind of abstract, like, screaming things. And very, like, clown-like. And she went to clown school.
Okay.
And that, I think, initially drew me in. And then I watched the Terrifier movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, well, I mean... That changed my life. Like,
no.
And I went to Kate Poole with the idea for a music video, and I was like, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I just want to dress like a clown.
Yeah.
And she kind of helped me flesh it out from there.
Develop it, yeah. And so, hold on, tell them where you're from. So
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Woohoo! And you moved out here recently, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this August of 2023, I finally got enough money to make the move.
Yep. And this is your first time being out here, right?
Yeah, I literally did not visit at all before moving out here.
Yeah.
So.
No, neither did I. And then so all the, like, this is your first, like, EP you're dropping, like, in.
So I dropped one, like, right when I moved here.
The, like, dance pop one with the okay. Yeah.
And that one I just kind of was like, at the point in which I released that one, I had 2 finished EPs and this album done.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just need to put something out so I have, like, because I have too much stuff to worry about. So I just, like, put that out very quickly.
And that one's a DJ Roswell?
So the DJ Roswell one is going to come out. Like,
okay.
He produced one that came out last spring, and then the next one is going to come out.
Is it the, like, rock and roll, like, the Vision one? Okay, yeah.
We were like, we want to do, like, electronic pop punk.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then for the kind of dance pop one, I noticed a lot of, like, Adult Swim kind of, what inspired that?
So I got really into Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
Spring of 2022.
And
in, like, season 8, I want to say, the credits song was like an anime, like, poppy dance thing. And I was like, well, what if I just made a whole EP that sounded like that?
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I graduated and, like, college, and then I hadn't been, like, producing for, like, 2 years in that period because I was just so wrapped up with that. And then the week I finished school, I just made that EP, like, entirely in 1 week. So
and then this new one on the cover that's a furry?
Yeah, that's my persona.
That's your persona.
Yeah, well, it's, I don't know, like, if I dive more into it, I might find that my persona is a little different, but currently
Got you. So okay, cool. What kind of made you choose that persona? How is that developed?
There was just something so dramatic about this EP that I could never figure out what I wanted to do for the art for it.
Yeah.
And then I just kept stumbling upon, like, that I feel like it's pretty famous. Maybe it isn't to other people, but that image of the wolf sitting in the moonlight on, like, the edge of a creek riverbed, and it's, like, really hyper realistic.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, something about it was just so dramatic, and I was like, And so I went to my friend Zach, Monkey Doodle, who does a lot of my album art, and I was like, hey, what if we did, like, furry stuff that looks like this? And he was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it was collaborative with him.
Yeah. And you recently opened up for the guy that did the 5 Nights at Fred, like, So there are a lot of people. I remember I turned to someone, I was like, how many, like, furries do we think of? Yeah,
so many. I love furries.
You identify as a furry, or you just fuck with the furry community?
I don't know. I mean, I could probably consider myself a furry. I'm not, like, super into the lore of, or, like, the community itself, but I love from afar. I really
I fuck with it. I fuck with the furry community for sure.
They're so accepting, and
they're cool.
open.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I love the EP. You got a few people. You got like Parcher.
Yeah, my friend Parcher is on it.
Yep.
And I met him through TikTok actually.
Gotcha.
A couple years ago, he was like, "Oh, who wants to feature on my album?" And I was like, "Me." That was my first feature I ever did, and then now we're working together on a couple different things, and I produced some stuff for him too. So
there we go. Mm-hmm. And who's the dude on the song Crush that you have?
Oh, you're Crave? Because Crush is just me.
Oh right, Crave.
Yeah, Crave. Yeah, so that's Habari 555.
Habari 555. Yeah.
And I had never interacted with him prior to asking him to be on that song. Yeah. But I was just I don't know, something about the way that EP came together, and it was inspired by the 80s and the early 2000s pop while also bringing in hyperpop.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a song with a rapper on it, kind of how there was that big moment in the early 2010s with Katy Perry and Lady Gaga were all getting rappers on their songs.
Yeah.
So I was I want something that a rapper that would still fit kind of in the hyperpop cloud rap aesthetic, and I honestly don't even remember how I found him, but I reached out to him and he was like, "Yeah, I fuck with the song, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So that was...
Yeah. No, I was fucking with the guy. You also had another rapper Ryan something.
Oh, wait.
On your song Black?
Oh, Ryan Oakes. Yeah.
Ryan Oakes,
yeah, so he's doing great right now. He's blowing up.
Word?
He just hit 1 million monthly listeners today on Spotify.
Congratulations.
Good for Ryan.
And these are all St. Louis people?
No, so Ryan's out here. We just became mutuals at some point. I don't really know how that happened, but I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, you want to do this song?" And he was much bigger than me at the time. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a discount too for it." And so that just came together very suddenly.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you found a lot of people from the internet?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's only one person that that's featured on any of my songs that is actually from St. Louis with me, and that's Morgan Esoteric.
Oh, who was on that?
Yeah, and she we went to high school, and we went to youth group together in middle school, and then high school together, and all that. But then everyone else I met through either Instagram or TikTok. A lot of people through paid ads that they do, and I'm like, "Hey, you
just hit people. You got your For You page down. So that's clutch. That's clutch.
It's nice.
That's how I got my For You page. So kind of recommend me the music I like, and then I find events that those people are throwing, and then I meet people at those. That's kind of how
That's smart.
I get guests for the show, and how I kind of do my biz with everything.
Actually, the first person that I'm meeting through a show that I'm collaborating with, I met at that last show that you were at. Vinny, who played right after me. I just reached out to him today about hopping on a song for my album.
Cool. There we go. And so you got the album coming soon. This is your first album, right? This is your...
Yeah. Well, I put out an album before, in 2019, that I just took down because I was like, this isn't... It just wasn't as cohesive as a vision as anything that I've done thus far. So I'm considering this my debut album.
Cool. That's... that would be... Yeah. Because you release everything through yourself, right? It's not then it's your debut album.
Right.
You get to decide that.
Who's to say?
So what's the vibe of this? Is it kind of a consistent theme your EP projects, or is it a overarching thing of Rose's Hands? What's the...
This is probably the most crazy thing that I've done.
Got you.
Again, going back to Panic at the Disco, their first album, they did a split album where the first half was more electronic pop punk, and the second half was this kind of cabaret pop punk kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, I want to do a split album.
Yeah.
And so this album, well, first of all, it's 12 songs. Each of the songs I wrote during a month of 2022, just summarizing what was happening during that month. So that's the through line. The thread is just oh, this is how my year went. The title of it is going to be called MMXXII, which is 2022 Roman numerals. And then I was originally planning to move to LA in 2022, so I was gonna like split it in half sonically from before I moved and after I moved.
Yeah.
Then some things happened and it just didn't work out, but I still split it in half. Like the first half of the album is very inspired by like almost like 60s, 70s, 80s pop rock, psychedelic kind of stuff, and we did. Me and DJ Roswell, we spent like the month recording all the tracks for this.
Yeah.
And we did it a lot with like natural instrumentation, like acoustic guitar, ukulele, like piano, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then for those tracks, I wrote those all originally, just like the lyrics and stuff. I wrote it to just acoustic guitar backing tracks. And then the second half of the album is like electronic, almost like 2012 dubstep inspired.
Got you.
We just wanted to do.
Like it,
Thank you. Yeah. We try to do genres that people like don't really touch that often anymore. Like we did like a bronycore inspired song, which is just like My Little Pony type electronic. And we did like an electro swing UK garage song.
Oh yeah, that was I remember that era. Yeah. Okay.
So and then those tracks I wrote using a synth and for the lyrics rather than guitar, and then track 7 on the album starts off with just an acoustic guitar, then it builds to the instrumentation of the first album, and then there's like a guitar solo that goes into a synth solo that transitions into the sound of the second album or second half.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. This is cool. And when is this? This is dropping later this year or?
Yes, sometime? I'm gonna start the rollout. So I have a single coming out in September, and then another one in November, and then the album at some point after that.
Got you. You planned out.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I'm very specific about dates and months and times of year.
No, for real. Yeah, I am too, for sure. I got some songs that I like. I just want to hear the story of how they were made and everything. Okay. The song "We're Not Friends."
Yeah.
The song is sick as fuck.
Thank you.
I love that song.
That. That's actually a cover of a Jacob Sartorius song.
Oh.
So for anyone who doesn't know,
that's hella smart. That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jacob Sartorius was the kid who did Sweatshirt. For those of you who remember.
No, actually no. Jacob. I had a whole bit because I do sketches on this show sometimes. Had a whole bit where we had Jacob Sartorius. He was a lie detector. No relation to that Jacob Sartorius, but he was a lie detector operator. So the viewers of this podcast, they gonna know Jacob Sartorius has been not that Jacob Sartorius, but a Jacob Sartorius. So we had to bring it up that he was not. Yeah. So
that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so We're Not Friends, my track We're Not Friends was a cover of that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like crazy different than his original version. Yeah. Because I never want to release a cover that just sounds like the original song. I want to do something different with it. And the reason I actually even made that in the first place was just because I wanted something fun to play at my live shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is and I just tried to make it like a fun hyperpop-esque track. And also I was like in the middle of like producing the Dancing is Forbidden EP.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know when this is gonna come out. I don't have anything like scheduled for release anytime soon, so I'm just gonna make this cover and I know I can put that out. So that was kinda
Got you. And you were just like you just listened to a lot of Jacob Sartorius?
Yeah, I've been a fan for a while, and I met him in 2018.
Oh, wait, you met him?
Yeah. Went to a meet and greet. Yeah. Now his music is very different.
Is it? I only know this, like the Sweatshirt song.
Yeah, so it's pretty different than that. It's almost I would say like kind of like Juice WRLD inspired, Kid Laroi.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I fuck with it. Oh, can I say fuck?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I fuck with it.
Yeah. Let's go. You a JoJo Siwa fan too?
You know, not particularly.
She keeps coming on my like For You page. I'm like, do y'all think I care? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I think I don't like hate her or anything.
No.
I don't really like her music. I do appreciate that she's being all crazy and stuff. Like, I mean, it's kind of like she's just dressing up like a drag queen.
Didn't she say I invented Gaypop or something?
Yeah, that was.
I saw this is the one video I liked, which is probably why I'm getting a lot of JoJo Siwa content. I saw one video where it's like TMZ cut up her and they were like, you think you invented Gaypop? And she was like, yeah, well, I just was like da da da. And then they're like, what about Elton John? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, what about it? That's not funny to me.
Well, my friend Ashlyn says JoJo Siwa is the Elton John of our generation.
JoJo Siwa is the Elton John of our generation.
Not my words.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
She's very campy though.
JoJo Siwa?
Yeah.
Wasn't she like she was Dance Moms. That's like what.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I never watched that, but I definitely have seen her.
And then Jacob Sartorius, that he just was on TikTok.
Musically first. And then TikTok, or like Musically turned into TikTok.
Got you.
I don't know.
That's like the social media. And Shawn Mendes was Vine, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were in the same kind of generation. Jacob was younger, but they came up at the same time.
Yeah, because Shawn Mendes is like our age, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe a little. He might be a little older.
I'm a little older than you, so I think he's my age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Word. What about the song Hello Goodbye? That's a sick.
Oh yeah. So the Vision EP as a whole was inspired by the show WandaVision.
Yeah.
So in WandaVision they say we've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason we'll say hello again. And I really felt like I felt like the relationship that Wanda and Vision had in WandaVision really paralleled my relationship with my ex that is like the person that I write most of my music about.
Okay.
And so I was like, so I like took the story beats from WandaVision, and each of the beats were kind of one of the songs on that EP, and that song was just like really me, like that line, and then we've said goodbye before, so we'll say hello again, and then pouring out all my emotion, being like, this, I don't understand why we keep doing this, but this cycle keeps repeating, and like it seems like no matter how many years pass, we continue to interact with each other in some capacity, and so it's like, okay, we've said goodbye like a million times, I'm sure I'll say hello again.
Yeah.
And then we kind of wanted to do like a rock ballad kind of thing, almost like Paramore inspired.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
No. And so you're talking about Paramore. You mentioned Panic at the Disco. Are those like main big influences?
Yeah.
Who are like your main? Because you have a very inspired songwriting style.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to think that like, I don't know. I guess my older sister was really into emo music when I was probably like 5 or something, and I feel like that really shaped me. And both my sisters did like dance routines to Fall Out Boy and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that like went in, and then like. So Paramore, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy really shaped like my foundation, and then as I grew up a little bit, 5 Seconds of Summer, just they're very emotional, and I feel like a combination of those 4 really pushed me in, at least for like structure and like writing and lyricism. Fall Out Boy the most in the lyricism sense, because they just have like crazy lyrics that are just so that was kind of where that came from.
And now you're doing a folk album. What kind of? It's cool. It's cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. What? It's out. I'm spacing on. What's the last single you dropped?
God, I'm so unhappy.
God, I'm so unhappy. That song is sick. How'd that song come about?
Thank you. So this whole EP came about because I was in a relationship that was making me incredibly unhappy.
Yeah. And you recorded this one in LA, the folk one?
No, all of this was recorded in St. Louis in 2022. It's
all of
old.
That's okay.
I've been sitting on it for a while.
No, that's real. That's why I keep pushing like Addie's music now, because I'm like, y'all don't understand. Like everything that we've done is like old stuff. Like this is the LA shit right here. Like this is the shit that we like just start. You know, So I feel that for sure. But so the same guy from.
No, this is a separate one.
Yeah.
So. Because all of the music about the other guy is more like happy and like more like longing. This was like, I'm so miserable. And I was watching the Adult Swim show, going back to Adult Swim. Moral Oral, have you ever heard of that? It's like a claymation show about like this.
Oh yeah, okay. I know. I forgot what it was called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, for the audience, it's a claymation show about a kid named Oral who lives in the Midwest in like a really religious town, and his parents are in like a really, really awful relationship.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folk music in that show, specifically by the Mountain Goats.
Yeah.
And
Got the Mountain Goats poster right there.
oh my god, I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Wow, that's sick. And so I'd been watching that show, and I was like, oh, this relationship with his parents really is exactly how I feel in this relationship with the guy I was with at the time, because the dad in the show has an alcohol problem, and the guy I was with had a pill problem, and so they were both taking it out, like the character in the show was taking it out on his wife, and my ex was taking it out on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awful. I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this EP as if I was like, the thought was, oh, what if I had stayed with him and gotten married, and how that would be. And like, because that thought occurred when I was watching more Oral, I was like, oh, well, what if I did it like a folk thing? And I was like, I don't really know how to make folk music like in itself. And I was like, what if I did like my own version of folk Tronica?
Yeah.
So I was just like, I want to take like electronic elements and mix it with like classical folk elements and just see what happens.
No, it's cool. It's got its own unique vibe, because I got the homie Sailboat who does folk. I got like a few other homies who do folk music, but you got the like, it's because it has that like same like punk like aesthetic with it, so it's like it's definitely it's cool.
And
it's cool vibe.
I use the same like punk vocal plugins that I use in my other stuff, like Howard Benson Vocals is a great plugin for anyone who produces, and a lot of that stuff. And then like for the 2 singles that I put out, those ones were like almost like I call them like hyper folk or cyber folk, because they have a lot of like hyperpop or dubstep elements that I drew in. But then a lot of the other ones are more like, they've got like synth pop elements versus like that are less outrageous, I guess is the word.
For sure. And so I saw you perform recently. You got a lot of physicality at your shows. What kind of inspired you to kind of do that, like, because it's like it's a very specific kind of way you do it. What kind of inspired you to kind of do those?
So I was in show choir for a year in high school, and I did theater, like musicals and stuff. But I think show choir really specifically is, I was just like, oh, this is what I should be doing all the time. And so like a lot of the moves that I do today are things that either like I got from show choir or like are morphed from show choir. And then just over time, like I just really kind of picked up different things from here and there, like from K-pop videos or stuff like, or Just Dance. I watch a lot of like Just Dance, like the game.
You just like watch like people just like, or not people, but just like the like choreography of it.
Yeah.
Bro, I used to do that too. I used to just like sit and be like, let's see like how they're like
right. And like, so at my last show that you saw, I introduced a new dance break to a song that's not out yet, but is going to be on that album.
Right. Yeah. I heard when I heard it on the email, I was like, oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And so there's a dance break, and a lot of some of the dance moves are from show choir, and then a lot of them I took from like this year's Just Dance game. So I was like, oh, this is really fun. And then at my so I have a show May 16th, which is I'm gonna be playing a lot more of the folky stuff. But then the next one
at plug where
Genghis Cohen.
That's a Jewish Chinese spot, right?
I did not know it was.
No, because I was my homie he's been on the show too, Ian Jacobson. He's performed there a few times. He's like, oh, it's so funny because it's a Jewish Chinese restaurant. I was like,
that's fitting.
I
didn't know that, but so I'm playing there, and that's gonna be more of a chill show where I'm not gonna do as much choreo. But then my show after that, I'm going to have backup dancers for.
Oh shit!
And then so we are going to be meeting up this month and choreographing that, and we're going to try to draw from like kind of Britney Spears-esque.
That's so cool. Choreography. And where'd you find the backup dancers?
So my friend that I produce for and manage out here, Bailey Price, plugging her.
Shout out Bailey Price.
Yes. And She actually was a dancer before she started doing music, and she moved out here for dance. And then I've always kind of had in the back of the idea that I would love to like incorporate her dancing somehow into my shows. And then at the last show that I played, Angel 004 or 004, I'm not sure how she pronounces it. She had she had backup dancers, and I sent a video to my other friend Ashlyn, and Ashlyn was like, we should have backup dancers. I've been saying you need to elevate your sets. She is a clear example of the direction we should go, and so she kind of inspired that. And so it was just like two of my friends that happened to have some dance ability that like we're offering their services, and I'm like, I mean,
there you go. I don't know. It's gonna be sick. That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous but excited.
So you're from St. Louis. What kind of? How was the scene in St. Louis, and what kind of inspired you to start making music in the first place?
Honestly, like, not much about St. Louis directly inspired me. The music scene, I don't want to shit on St. Louis because maybe I just wasn't looking in the right places. But a lot of the I
love St. Louis. I mean, I love St. Louis rap music. I don't know about.
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of the shows that I played were either like I was playing with middle-aged men in their rock bands, or like it was like rappers, and like I don't really feel like I fit necessarily with either of those super well. I guess now more I fit with some of the rappers because I do more rap stuff. But at the time I didn't, and I was just kind of like, I'm so. I love them for giving me shows, but I was like, I just want to play a show with a cohesive lineup. And so I don't know, like not really much about St. Louis other than like my situation, like living situation, and the way people treated me inspired me. But like, I don't know. I guess maybe like there's a lot of like almost like indie rock that I started to see more in St. Louis right when I was leaving. But again, by the time that I was at that point, like I was doing something different, so that didn't really work. But I mean, St. Louis is fine for people that want to live there.
Sexy Red's from there, right? I love Sexy Red. I was in a big Sexy Red phase, so
nice. Well, aside from her saying that she supports Trump,
she is. Yeah, she just said it, didn't she?
I'm proud that she's from there, aside from the Trump comments. But honestly, that's not really surprising considering she's from St. Louis.
Jordan Ward's from there too, right? Jordan Ward.
I don't know if I know who that is.
Oh, I think he's from there.
Sorry.
I think he's from there.
I think Nelly is from there also, but again, that's not really.
I love people on this podcast know I'm one of the biggest Nelly fans.
Yes, yeah.
I love Nelly.
Nelly had a school there.
His school. He had a whole school.
Yeah, it closed. One day, the kids were coming back for their finals. It was college. And they came in for like finals or something. Or this is what I heard.
You know people who attended this school?
No, but it was like really close to where I went to college my freshman year. So we heard about it, and then a lot of the people had to transfer to my college because they just showed up one day and the doors were locked and it was closed, and they're like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And so a lot of them had I was in an audio production program at the time at Webster University, so a lot of them had to transfer into that, and they were like, man, fuck this. That was the whole thing.
No. But shout out. He got a kid with Ashanti now.
Oh, shit. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Shout out Nelly.
Shout out Nelly.
I heard he's a really nice person. I think my friend's mom has met him before.
I love him. Every time I see an interview, I'm like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
No, it's a joke because on like the 4th episode, I was like, I fucking love Nelly. And then like someone else on the show, shout out John, he was like, your favorite rapper is Nelly, right? And I was like, no, but like I'm rolling with that. But,
yeah.
Cool. And do you have a favorite song of yours?
That is hard. I guess. I mean, if we're talking like total of like everything, like unreleased stuff too, my favorite song is probably either a song called "Crying in September," which I played at my last show. It's gonna be on my next album. Or the album, and then I guess release stuff. I used to tell people that like every night the same tear, which is from this folk EP. I was like, oh, this is my magnum opus. I don't know if it is anymore. I still like it because it's kind of crazy, but
it's cool.
And it's got like, I just really like banjo. There's a banjo sample in it. So I would say that one.
Cool. Yeah. There we go. And so we have a game on the show, collab game. So you choose one person who you know in real life, or just like talk to, who you haven't done a song with yet, who you really want to do a song with, call them out, and then someone who you've never done a song with, but just like dream collab.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, like, just that I know in real life. I would probably say, well, okay, does it count if I've just met them briefly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Tracy Breaks. I saw her DJ a couple weeks ago at Yoav from the Living Tombstone's birthday party.
Yeah.
And I love her. She makes some crazy fucking music. She did in her DJ set, she had a mashup of Hung Up by Madonna and B12 from American Dad.
Yeah.
Which was just like crazy. So I would love to work with her. I don't know if I blew my chances because the brief interactions I've had with her, I was so awkward. I was like,
that's so chill. Like, people, they don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've noticed that.
Fingers crossed.
People, yeah. And then who dream collab? Someone you don't know, like dream collab type thing.
I would say can I say two answers for different reasons?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say like either Dylan Brady because obviously I love his production as a hyperpop bitch. That's near, and they are 100 Gex is near and dear to my heart. Yeah. They're both from my hometown.
Oh, they're from that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I just love a lot of the stuff that
is
Dylan
Dorian
Brady's
Electra also? Because I've listened to some of Dorian Electra's music.
I don't think Dorian's from St. Louis. I haven't heard that. I wouldn't be surprised if they're from somewhere in the Midwest because they used to make like libertarian music. Yeah. But I don't know. They're cool. Yeah. And then
I like some of the music.
I was gonna say my other answer, like from like a lyrical standpoint, would probably be like Pete Wentz, just because, or Patrick Stump.
That's the Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Pete, yeah. Okay.
I just think that would be crazy to write something. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. There we go. Well, do you have any other advice to give to the people out there in the world?
Just make it happen for whatever the cost is. Like, I feel like it's really hard to. Well, it's easy to put music out, but it's hard to get it to gain any traction. I'm still figuring that out, and it's hard to. Like, it was a big deal, like a very difficult thing for me to move out to LA. This is like where I need to be for this kind of music because there just wasn't anything in St. Louis for that. And I really had to fight tooth and nail, and to get the money to do that, I had to do some things that I probably should not say because of the statute of limitations. I didn't hurt anyone. No. Just some things that I used my baking degree for. And utilize whatever you can, any help that anyone gives you, the government. If you don't have much money, get some food stamps. That's what's up. Destigmatize all of that. But just fight.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
And you have like a big work ethic. You constantly dropping stuff.
I pretty much like I wake up in the morning and go to the gym. I go to work at where we work together, and then I come home and I take care of my dog, eat dinner, and then I work on music until I go to bed.
Yes, sir. So, that's the grind.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Rose's Hands. Shout out Jimmy K. Feds and the Squeak Squad. Free Palestine, always.
Of course.
And Rose's Hands, Rax Kills. We out.